Pisces, we all know that you are a pretty magical being. You're pretty spiritual. Pisces, I think of you as the psychic, spiritual, alternative healer of all the signs. That's just how I think about you. I know that probably sounds so ignorant, but that's how I think about you, Pisces. And that's what I've seen in my real life, and that's what I continue to see in my journey and what it is that I do. And Pisces, I'm starting with this right now because when it comes to the lessons that you've had to learn, it feels like for you who I'm speaking to, it's all about that, trusting that you have this gifting. I mean, real psychic gifting. Early on and in your middle years, and even right now, Pisces, what's coming up, and I'm meditating on this energy, is that you have an opportunity to walk into your divinity and your spirituality and your gifting. And I'm not too sure if you are confident about that right now. For some of you, you're probably cool with it. You're already in the healing arts, and you're watching me like, girl, what you got to say today? Thank you. Welcome. It's good to see you, Pisces. But for some of you, you're unsure about that. You're unsure about if you have the gifting that you have. And I'm here to tell you, yes, you absolutely do. So for you, Pisces, this generational cycle reading is all about you having a series of experiences throughout your life to lead you to a point right now where you're walking into your power. And it's all about spiritual power. I'm talking to the psychics out there, the people who can do Reiki healing, sound healing, people who move energy with their hands. This is all about the alternative arts, alternative healing, holistic healing. For those of you who have been having a weird life experience and you just know deep down that you have this gifting, this is the reading for you specifically. All right. So Pisces, when I got the feeling to do this reading, I hadn't done a reading like this for the masses before starting this series. And so this has been an interesting journey doing this reading for everyone, because everyone has a very unique way that their life experiences has shaped them to have these options at different points in their lives to break cycles off of their lives. And so sometimes it's related to spirituality for folks. Sometimes it's related to how they're parenting, their career, their love life. And for you, Pisces, it's all about you being a healer. It feels like, or knowing your power to alchemize and use your power to have the life that you want. But it's something about your power spiritually. We're starting with ages 0 to 5, 0 to 10. So those early childhood years, we're going to look at what those lessons were for you and what you were being challenged with, the waking up moments. When you're a kid, those little weird things start to happen to shape you because you're so in touch with past life. So we're going to do 0 to 10, 0 to 5. Then I have middle adult years, but really I'm thinking teen years, young adulthood. It really just depends on your age right now in terms of what you determine to be that middle area of your life. So for many of us, it's just whatever we think of as young adult years. And then we have a placing out here for now, what you're contending with, so that you can make a choice to break any cycles off of your life and live in your truth. Psychic came out here. I know, 3 minutes later, oh, that's why Shaan is doing all of this. Psychic literally popped out for you. Ages 0 to 10, young childhood years. What it's coming through for me right now, I'm going to get some cards out here to confirm it, is that when you were a child, you were having those dreams. You were probably hearing spirit, seeing spirit. You probably would have premonitions quite a bit. You know, those kind of situations where it's like, I really want to go see Aunt Betty, and you're feeling like you need to see Aunt Betty. You get tearful. You want to cry. You don't know why you miss Aunt Betty. You haven't seen Aunt Betty in 5 years. But finally, someone takes you to see Aunt Betty, and then the next day, Aunt Betty crosses the Rainbow Bridge, if you know what I mean. Like you seem like you have had that kind of experience into your teen years too, with other people, like your friends, and I'll get into that in a moment. But early on, you've had psychic ability. And I haven't gotten the cards out here yet, but I'm feeling like for some of you, Pisces, you didn't want to have this gifting. And most people who have that gifting, they don't want it. They don't want it early on because it's real. It's not glamorous when you're a kid, because it could be like nightmares and it can be terrorizing and scary, but you definitely have psychic ability out here in your young adult years. So let's get some tarot out here. God, angel, spirit guides for my lovely Pisces. Tell us more about why psychic is out here, God, angel, spirit guides, for their early childhood years. Number 48. Why is psychic out here for them? What were they working through? What did they have to contend with psychic being out here? God, angel, spirit guides. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. Thank you. You have the Page of Pentacles. For some of you, your parent had this gifting too. And for some of you, they helped you through it because they also had this gifting. Yep. Yeah, okay, so let's start here. Okay, so for some of you, you had a parent who had this gifting. Or you had an aunt. So there are two matriarchal vibe feelings here. For some of you, there was an aunt or a parent that also had this kind of gifting too, and they would support you and encourage you and help you understand that. And then for others of you, I'm sorry, there was a lot that just came through here. So for some of you, it was someone, not your mother, but it was another maternal vibe person, an older sister, an aunt, older woman who might identify as female, who also had this gifting, and they would also support you. Okay, Pisces, that's coming through. And then the parent, your primary caregiver, wasn't aware, didn't understand, probably just thought it was some nonsense. And then for some of you, it kind of switches around where it was actually your parent, and then her best friend or sibling was like, don't tell this child about that kind of thing. That's what this feels like here. Okay, and then we also have the Knight of Wands. We have this Strength in reverse, and then we have a Tower. There was some type of loss that happened, and it kind of feels like financial loss with the mom or the family. There was some loss when it came to home needs. It also feels like for some of you there could have been, this is very specific, Pisces, for someone there was some home that you lived in, and there was a fire at this home, and it kind of changed everything in terms of finances. It kind of put a halt and a hold on some things, and it actually had an impact on someone's health. I don't know if it was one of the women that I'm describing, but it had an impact on their health in some interesting way. You probably were able to forecast this event that happened that was not a pleasant thing. You were able to forecast it. Now, the Knight of Wands, though, the Knight of Wands shows up when there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of fire energy, but it's not able to get grounded and get settled. After this situation happened, it feels like, Pisces, it was hard for the family to become settled after this situation. It was almost like the family or the relationship with your caregivers, it was never the same after this event. But when it relates to your psychic ability, I'm feeling that you probably had a vision of this happening. You knew that this would happen, or this event that I'm describing, and you know what this is for you, Pisces. I'm probably all over the place, but you know what this is. It had an impact on your developing psychic ability, your developing psychic understanding. Okay. Now, for others of you, the situation in your childhood, it wasn't as drastic and tragic. For some of you, it was just that you had a parent who was not able to be the caregiver that you needed them to be. They probably did have that, excuse me, I don't want to knock down my plant baby, getting too excited over here. You had a caregiver who did have intuitive knowing, because this is another card that is a psychic intuitive energy, right? So you had a caregiver who had that. People probably went to this caregiver to get insight, get advice, but it wasn't like they were able to take care of the family this way. It wasn't helpful for the family. Another thing that came through is that for some of you, this is evolving. For some of you, you had a caregiver who probably was a reader or had psychic ability, but at that time, it was frowned upon so much until this parent was at a loss, and maybe some type of traumatic or tragic event happened because this person was a caregiver, but also had this psychic ability, and maybe in some way they were using their gifting to help other people, but it was frowned upon in this community or this city, this place that you all lived in, but that had an impact on you in an interesting way. There was some type of thing that had fallen apart related to money, not having the money, needing resources, and someone's challenged health, okay? So for wherever you are, wherever you're meeting this event that I'm describing, when it came to your psychic ability, early on, I'm sensing that it rocked your trust in it. You didn't know if this gifting was something that was here to help you or betray you, is what this feels like here. Now I'm going to go into, wow, it's 10 minutes into the reading. I am so sorry. I had to get that out. Okay, so going into your middle years, your young adult years, and your teen years, whatever that means for you, there's time out here, and then you have friendship out here. What this feels like to me is that during this time of your life, there was some type of friendship that came, a person who came into your life that was a secure energy for you, that you were able to lean into. They came at the perfect time in your life, is what this feels like. God, angel, spirit guides for Pisces, please. Why is time and friendship out here for any karmic lessons or breaking any generational cycles? What was this about during this time for Pisces in their teen years, young adult years? What is this all about? Time and friendship. Let's see what this is for you. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. What is this for you? Okay, we have another page of pentacles, and it popped out in reverse. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. This kind of feels like some type of loss, financial hardship here. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. What else? Another one. I don't know what that one is yet. Can't see it. Another one out here. Okay, yeah, it kind of feels like some type of hardship, loss. Okay, then we have something spiritual out here. All right, the first card out here is the Page of Pentacles. Now, you know the Page of Pentacles is a wonderful offer, an offer toward a new beginning, message, communication, saying that here is an opportunity that can be wonderful for you, but it is in reverse. So there is some type of loss here, or feeling like there was potential, but it didn't work out, because you also have the Seven of Pentacles here in reverse too. So it could be that you were working in a field, or you were building something financially. You wasn't sure. The Two of Pentacles is out here too. You wasn't sure if this was going to work out. And so in some way, it either was kind of removed from you, or you decided to abandon whatever this was and go in a new direction, because the Hierophant is out here. Okay, now this is the church, this is community, this is groups of people who have they all have the same institutional structural thinking here. Okay, now you also have the Knight of Cups in reverse, and you have Temperance here. Okay, so for some of you, this is very specific, Pisces. Some of you during this time in your life, this psychic ability, this gifting that you have, you kind of started abandoning it because you wanted to live a life that kind of felt more structured. You tried to have community and place this spiritual gifting in a church community to help make sense of it. So you kind of went in a different direction. You're kind of weighing that and went in this direction here. It wasn't easy for some of you. You know, the Temperance is out here. You needed to have a lot of patience, because a lot of the beliefs that you were being taught and values that were kind of being required of you, the values that were being required of you to activate, didn't feel natural to you. And then you have the Knight of Cups in reverse. So this kind of feels like not being emotionally aligned. It didn't really romance you, whatever this was. Now, this could be a job too, you know, something very routine, structure-based, military, working as an educator in an institution, something that feels kind of like confining, structural, and traditional. But it wasn't working out for you, but here you're trying to balance that. Now, another message that's coming through too is that at this time, you're trying to figure out who you are spiritually. You're looking at, do I build my life in this traditional world where I might go to college, go to school, and become, a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever these things are. And then, but I also want to explore and examine this more spiritual side of myself. It doesn't feel right. So that's something that some of you are going through, and you started getting friends or people who came into your life at the right time to help you ground in the energy and get clear about who you are. Now, another message that's coming up for some of you is that because of who you are, right? You are a spiritual being. Now you know how to get the bag, you know how to earn money, you know how to have a goal, but you're trying to weigh who you want to be going further into your life, the traditional route or not. And you have this gifting, you have some divinity that goes beyond traditional divinity, like traditional church and doctrine and things like that. And there was someone who came into your life that you shared this with, your gifting, but they were incredibly religious, or they had a different set of beliefs, and they had a prejudice against you for having your gifting or your understanding or wanting to explore a little bit more about this alternative healing path that maybe you're on now, and they removed themselves out of your life, and that shaped your understanding of people. That kind of rocked your world a little bit, Pisces, with time and friendship being out here as that main energy here. Okay, so that happened, those situations were happening to you because here you are going out into the world having to determine who you really are, and how, excuse me, how we determine who we really are is that we have to be tested by the people. We have to, get next to other people around us in our peer group to help us understand better what's for us and what's not for us. But it kind of feels like there was some type of judgment, some type of prejudice about who you were based off of some very structured institution with values and traditions. And you weren't warming up to that, or whoever was in your life at that time who was tied to that, the friendship had a struggle. It struggled a little bit because of that. Okay, so now you're in this energy that says magic. Okay, and beneath the deck is knowledge. And again, as I just shared, magic is out here as that final energy here that you're working through now. So I do think at any second in our lives, we have infinite potential to go in any direction that we want to. If we decide to pick up the remote control and turn on the TV, or grab a cookie, or go for a walk, all of those choices lead to different alternate outcomes in our lives, just like that, right? So even in this moment, with magic being out here and knowledge being out here, as you are learning more about your divinity and the power that you have, the ability to create whatever reality that you want to, use your spiritual gifting, you are determining what kind of cycles are broken off of your life so that you can have your true freedom. And it feels like, again, as I keep saying, and I've said time and time again, it's all about your spirituality right now and your gifting. But it feels like you're learning about something. So God, angel, spirit guides for Pisces, as it comes to the energy that they're in right now, can you tell us a little bit more about what this is that they are working through? What is the opportunity? What generational cycles are being broken off of their life by what they're being offered right now? God, angel, spirit guides. What is this about? Magic and knowledge being out here. Thank you, God, angel, spirit guides. Let's see. I just saw the world card beneath the deck. Okay, yep, you're coming out of a hanged man energy. Yeah, for some of you, you're literally coming out of the hermit too, okay? So seeking wisdom, that's that knowledge out here. You might have a sage or someone who's wise around you. It could just be YouTube and the books that you're reading, the podcast that's teaching you about divinity. This is another very spiritual card in Pisces. This energy is you, but it's also about you being enlightened. And so it's upright, right? It's in reverse, but it's in reverse for us. But we know that the hangman in traditional tarot, this person is upside down, but it's upright, which makes me feel like you're becoming clear about who you are and more accepting of your gifting at this time. So you might be going into the healing arts now. You might have an opportunity to start using your voice, doing readings for people. I know it kind of feels like the market is saturated with all kinds of people who are doing this, but I think it's a wonderful time to get started if you're feeling like going into this and you have not already, studying your style of healing other people, because it feels like you really have this thing. You really have this and you cannot avoid it. It feels like it's been a part of you throughout your life. Friendships have been shifted and changed because of it. Opportunities have come and gone because of it. It just does not feel like you can avoid this gifting that you have right now. You have the 10 of Cups out here. Okay, and guess what else keeps popping out? This Page of Pentacles. It keeps popping out. I think it came out in all 3 placements. So this Page of Pentacles is very important for you to know that whatever was happening in your childhood related to psychic ability, if you were watching someone who was being activated in their alternative healing gifts or in their power, in their dream space, and you didn't see it quite work out successfully for them, it feels like Spirit wants you to know that you can have what it is that you want. You also have the Page of Swords out here. This is breakthrough. This is clarity. This is the knowledge. And it feels like right now you are at a point of getting very clear about what it is that you want and more accepting. So this is logic, this is clarity, this is truth, and this is also acceptance as well. You have this gift. And this is another cup energy. So for me as a reader, when I see the cups out here and we're talking about gifting and purpose, I think about people working with other people and pets and children and healing and teaching, right? You're teaching people about how to be spiritually free, how to be emotionally free. And it's time here. Now, there's fear. There's fear, and there might be worry about the money, about the opportunity. How do I do this thing? Will the money come? Will I be able to take care of myself? Well, one, that's why you're getting the information now. That's why you're studying this thing now. But let me tell you something about Spirit, Pisces, that I'm sure you out of all people already know, is that when you're operating in your gifting and you're doing it because you really do love people and you really do have the desire to allow yourself to use your gift to be activated in what you came to this earth plane to do, you will never go without. You're going to be taken care of. You're going to be blessed, but it's just a matter of trusting yourself right now. And it's out here. The Ace of Swords is out here for you. So this is an opportunity for you to go forward in this. If you've been looking for confirmation and you're in this work, friend, Pisces, I'd say that this is confirmation to keep going. If you started and it's been slow to build, whatever this is, keep going, because you can't get away from it. Friend, for some of you Pisces, I can see in these cards that you've tried to get away from this gifting. This is for you. This is your purpose. And, let me know what podcast or what you're doing, because I want to follow you. If you're doing this, I want to see how you grow in this. This is beautiful work, and it feels like you're going to be really protected in this. Final thing, and then I'll stop running my mouth. For some of you, this is related to you sharing your story too. That just came through. Okay, I love you, Pisces. That's all. I've talked so much. I'll see you next week, hopefully. Okay, take care. Bye.